We'll get started. I'm David Grant, Mayor of Arden Hills, and I'd just like to welcome you all here tonight for the State of the City. As we've done with previous State of the City addresses, each council member will cover a variety of topics. Tonight, Council Member Woodburn is not able to be with us. His presentation will be done by Council Member McClung. Thank you for doing Council Member Woodburn's portion. First item that we're going to talk about is TCAAP, the perhaps largest project and the project that the city's been working on the longest. The City Council approved the TCAAP redevelopment code, which is the zoning code for TCAAP, and the TCAAP comprehensive plan on July 13th. And you'll notice up here on the slide it says TCAAP redevelopment code, and then below that it says Rice Creek Commons. The name of the development is Rice Creek Commons. When the city started its redevelopment code and all of its other documents, it was at that point TCAAP. So we've not gone back to change some of those documents because they're rather lengthy. So the words TCAAP and Rice Creek Commons are, for all practical purposes, interchangeable. The city's been working on the master plan and redevelopment code, as I said, since 2013. That was shortly after the county purchased the property. The city began the process with a series of meetings and open houses. Residents and developer feedback was a key component of the council's consideration in the master plan and zoning. Let's take a look at and talk about some of the public meetings that we had. The land use map and TCAAP redevelopment code are largely based on the community's desires for a developed TCAAP. From the community meetings, the city knows and learned that Arden Hills residents value the city's existing neighborhoods. Residents appreciate well-defined neighborhoods and the architectural diversity and culture of each individual neighborhood. Arden Hills residents also value the city's abundant parks and open space and trails. This is considered an essential element of the city's character, and residents advise that significant parks and open space should be included in the TCAAP plan. Let's take a look at some of the public meeting comments. Generally, residents wanted to see TCAAP developed in a similar character as the rest of the city, but with a few notable differences. Residents felt that Rice Creek Commons should meet the needs and desires of younger generations. Residents wanted a walkable, pedestrian-friendly community with neighborhoods connected to each other and to convenient retail, services, and entertainment. Residents wanted a wider variety of housing options to serve young professionals, empty nesters, and seniors. Nearly everyone shared the view that Rice Creek Commons should be developed as a special place with high-quality development and amenities. Let's take a look at some of the developer comments that the City Council received. The City Council wanted to avoid creating a plan that was undevelopable in the market. The City Council held discussions with representatives of commercial, industrial, retail, multifamily, single-family, and senior housing. The City Council learned that Arden Hills is a desirable location for single-family homes due to the quality and reputation of the Mounds View School District. Arden Hills is also a desirable location for empty nesters, as residents choose to downsize from their existing homes but stay in the community. Empty nesters desire smaller homes, often on one level, with upgraded features and maintenance-free living. Popular empty nester products include twin homes, attached and detached townhomes. The City Council heard from commercial and industrial developers that amenities, particularly proximity to retail, services, and trails, are very important to attracting businesses. Commercial and industrial developers felt the site was well located, but cautioned that the city and the county will need to be patient to secure high-quality jobs that they want. Let's take a look at some of the more specifics of Rice Creek Commons. So the 151 acres, the creek, the town, and the hill. Total, again, 51 acres, then 168 acres for commercial property. That would be the blue and the red and the light blue, the dark red, and the purple. Again, 168 acres for commercial and industrial development. 25 acres for city parks. Those are designated here in green. So each neighborhood has its own park, and the Hill neighborhood actually has 2 parks. And 83 acres for the Spine Road, and the Spine Road comes off of County Road 96, goes up the development and comes out at County Road H. And the acreage, the 83 acres, also includes the stormwater feature that runs through the property to the north. Trails will run along the Spine Road. They will run along the water treatment, the pond, and they will also run along the outside of the property and will connect up with the Rice Creek Trail corridor. Let's take a look at some of the commercial sections of town. The regulating plan or zoning map can be looked at in terms of neighborhoods or districts. The campus or commercial district is 47 acres and could support up to 500,000 square feet of commercial development within a business park setting. And that's we've referred to that as the thumb, because to the rest of the project, it kind of seems like an appendage, and on a map, it's about big.
Do you have your spotlight on?
Oh, sorry.
Spotlight?
Spotlight? I did. It's pretty faint. I'm sorry about that. The Creek neighborhood is designed for single-family housing. The Creek neighborhood. It would accommodate up to 29 upscale homes on larger lots, approximately 85 feet wide. Most of the more recent development in Arden Hills on lots is 95 feet, so they would be slightly smaller than some of the existing lots, front footage. The Creek neighborhood would also support up to 93 homes on medium-sized lots, and it would also support up to 32 homes on small single-family lots. The Creek neighborhood would have its own 6.3 acre park to the west. All right, so let's take a look at the town neighborhood. We have a larger blow up here. The town neighborhood is planned as a much more denser neighborhood in close proximity to goods and services. The town neighborhood will accommodate up to 450 units of senior development or apartments, 169 units of medium family development such as row homes, manor homes, and 101 units of small lot single family, as well as 60,000 square feet of commercial mixed use building in the town center. The town center will have a 3.4 acre neighborhood park and a green pedestrian corridor that will lead to the east to the park for that area. Approximately 20 acres again for retail, and 28 acres of office are planned just west of the Spine Road. So the retail mixed use right here, and the office mixed use right down here. The neighborhood transition zoning here, the light pink, small and medium family residential, 8 to 15 units per acre. The town center district, large multifamily residential, density up to 45 units per acre. That would be the apartments or senior apartments. Moving to the Hill neighborhood. The Hill neighborhood can accommodate up to 357 residential units, including 229 single-family homes, 129 small attached multi-family housing such as townhomes or row homes. The neighborhood includes 2 parks here in green with a total of 11.5 acres. As the Flex Office District in here, which is the light blue, supports office, manufacturing, research, and development uses. Because the city and the county share a goal for high-quality jobs on TCAAP, warehousing is not permitted as a principal use in that district. So we've talked about the 3 neighborhoods, and the total of the dwelling units is 1,431 between all 3 neighborhoods. Let's talk about design for a moment. The City Council has actively worked to assure a high-quality development through the design guidelines. And the TCAAP redevelopment code, if you want to read it, is located on the city website. It's over 100 pages, and it's quite detailed, and it specifies the exact type of homes that can be in those various areas. Arden Hills residents clearly communicated a desirable for a walkable community. The City Council responded with a pedestrian-friendly scale and design that includes buildings that are placed close to the street, along pedestrian corridors. Parking and service areas are screened by landscaping or decorative fences and shaded walkways on every street. As you can see from this particular slide here, although there are plantings for shading, there's a clear walkable area that's unobstructed. And here you see an example of landscaping along the side of a walkable area. Let's talk about landscaping requirements for a moment. To assure a quality green and open space area, the following standards are included in the TCAAP redevelopment code. 10 to 40% of every lot must consist of permeable surfaces depending upon the zoning district the property is located in. Single-family homes have landscaping requirements for tree and perennial plantings. Commercial and industrial multifamily development are required to have private, common, open space. And if you look here, you can see some examples of private, open space. So people have a chance to get out, to walk around, for it to be aesthetically pleasing. Each residential neighborhood, as I stated earlier, will have at least 1 public park. City parks will total 25 acres, or 16.7% of the residential land area. Let's talk a little bit about building design on the property. High quality exterior materials are required on all types of development. Windows are required on the facades of commercial buildings facing public right-of-way. Facade variation, including architectural treatments, materials, and colors are required for every building. There is, of course, a special area of concern for the council, and that would be the entryways. The entryways off of 96 as well as the entryway off of County Road H. The City Council recognized the importance of first impressions as people drive onto the site. For this reason, the City Council established a gateway overlay district along the Spine Road near County Road H and the Highway 96 access points. In these gateway areas, additional design standards apply, requiring significant architectural features, gateway monuments, or increased landscaping. So here you can see a monument sign that happens to be kind of a commercial sign. It could say, Rice Creek Commons or something of that particular nature. Some increased landscaping, I'm not sure that that is increased, but it's certainly an example of landscaping. Here you see an architectural feature. You see that they're undulated. The building has different depth to it, as well as an architectural feature for height. So, what are the next steps for TCAAP? Soil remediation work is anticipated to be completed in the fall of 2015, with the approval coming from the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, again by the end of this year. County Road H interchange is slated to be constructed during the 2016 construction year. And we will have Mark Lindeberg from MnDOT here, and certainly he can tell us more about that as well. A final design and funding agreement for infrastructure will be needed to allow construction of the spine road and trunk utilities in 2017, followed by private development in 2018. So again, at this point, private development is expected in 2018. So with that, let's move on to development that has happened here in Arden Hills or is about to happen. And presenting that item is Councilmember Brenda Holden.
The first thing I want to talk about is the Red Fox Business Center. This is just west of Health Partners, if you guys know where that is. It's on Red Fox, where the Blue Fox Inn used to be. You just go down to the end. There's going to be 2 light industrial buildings there, and they total about 93,000 square feet. And they're expected to house a variety of tenants, office, manufacturing, and some retail, and maybe some light industrial. So we're hoping that this is being built right now, and you can see how far we are. These pictures were taken this week, so they're really doing a good job banging it up fast. One of the things that is a concern of your council that we keep talking to the county commissioners about is access to Lexington. Anybody that works on the west side of Lexington trying to get onto 694 East, they have to sit through the light 4 or 5 times. We are continuing, because the target people come out and they fill the right-hand lane, and especially during rush hour traffic, it's extremely difficult for our businesses and our business employees to get out. So that's a constant concern that we are hounding the county on routinely. So please tell us your horror stories there, because the more horror stories we have, the more we can continue to drive home with the county. The next development that's going on right now, and for you that down by my neighborhood, is the Lake Johanna Presbyterian Homes on Lake Johanna. They've begun work on their second phase, and it includes 2 brownstone buildings, and it will total about 40 different independent senior apartments, and it's located at the corner of County Road D and Lake Johanna Boulevard. And it's going to be pretty much the same architectural style as the Pres Home building that's down there right now, and the same coloring. And they really, this doesn't put adjusted. I drove to work the other day, and they were just delivering the wood and the rafters, and it's already all up. So this will probably take this week, but it's already, you can see building shapes very distinctly now. The next building is in August. The council approved, I don't know if it was August, but we approved, this is the old library site on Connie Road E2, down straight off of New Brighton Road. And it used to have the round library there. That was torn down, and it's being developed by a developer that's going to put in 7 single-family residential homes. The houses are all going to be custom built, and they'll range in size from 4,500 to 7,000 square feet. And they're asking approximately over $750,000 to about $1 million for the houses. So right now they have 3 built, and We have 3, they've started construction on 3, and the model home is on the Parade of Homes annual event, so, and it's open very often, so drive over there and take a look. We know that when they present it to us, there'll be basketball courts in them if you choose, or all kinds of fun things like that. So if you're looking for a new home and have an extra $1 million to spend, this would be a great place because it's all filled with water and back in wetland areas. Another development we have going up on Lexington and Connie Road E, we have a Goodwill started. The Goodwill store is going to be about 1,700 square feet, and it will have a drop-off location for donations. And it's going to have, it's going to be a nice-looking store. It's very, very nice-looking store. It has a lot of architectural features, and it's coming along. It's for people that drive by there. We're hoping to, with the redesign of Connie Road E there, with the 2 lanes going left, that traffic should flow really good in that area, better than it has. So the last real interesting thing we have going on for economic development is the Tavern Grill. The City Council approved a development proposal for a sit-down restaurant, the Tavern Grill, in August. The restaurant's located in the Arden Plaza, right off of Lexington and E, just a little bit south of the Walgreens. For those of you, I haven't heard of the Tavern Grill, but they have one in Blaine and Woodbury and Edina. And it's a nice sit-down restaurant on the upper scale, so we're pretty excited about that. And since it is a proposal, last we heard, they haven't closed on the property with the property owner or anything, but it is a proposal that looks like it's moving forward. You can't tell from the slide, but it just kind of lays it out. And the bottom line is there's a large outdoor patio area, which will be nice, and that can only be used during the warmer months, of course, so get there while it's warm. And they expect to break ground on it sometime in the spring of 2016. So they're hoping to have it done and ready to go next year for everybody for a nice restaurant in Arden Hills.
Thank you. I am Mark Lindenberg with the Minnesota Department of Transportation, and be here to talk to you about a bunch of projects, at least in the area, that will not only affect necessarily your home life, but maybe a little bit of your commute life also. So we start off just kind of showing a quick little map of all the projects that are real close to home. Different colors are different years. I'll kind of go through 16 and 17 separately. So if we go to the next slide, it's a little bit zoomed out picture showing all the projects that we have going on in the summer of 2016. So next year we'll have a lot of fun as we go through that.
Could you at least identify them, because I can't even read them?
Oh, certainly.
I mean, maybe everybody else can see it, but I sure can't. I don't even know where you're looking at.
All right, so we've got 35W. We're doing a mill and overlay on there. I'll try it this way. So we got 35W mill and overlay, 694 third lane project, the extension of Min Pass on 35E, and then a couple of projects on 94. This is a quick little highlight. I'll be going through a bunch of the projects and talk about them, and can certainly answer questions later about them as we go through them. So the first project I want to talk about is the 694 Corridors of Commerce project, where we're going to be adding a third lane in each direction between Lexington and Rice Street. That will begin next spring. And like I said, we're actually rebuilding all of the pavement. So we'll be kind of shifting traffic to the south. We'll build westbound 3 lanes in 2016. And then in 2017, we'll shift traffic to the westbound lanes, and we'll construct the eastbound lanes. So in the end, we'll have 3 lanes in each direction between Lexington and Rice. And at that same time, we're also going to be carrying the second lane off of that bridge from northbound 35, how we've got 2 lanes stacking on the bridge, and it merges down into 1 lane, and then you merge onto 694. We're going to carry that outside lane through over to Rice Street and have it be the exit lane to Rice Street, and then the inside lane, or the left lane coming over that bridge, will be the third lane that will extend in that westbound direction and just carry all the way through the project. So we're very excited about this project, but with 2 years of construction, It'll be fun though, because we're still going to maintain 2 lanes of traffic in each direction. So that's a little bit of a win for us. We don't have to get down to 1 lane on the interstate. So, we're expecting that to be about a $40 million project, and that the funding came to us from the legislature through the Corridors of Commerce program, and so it's a fast-moving project. The next project is County Road E2 over 35W. Which we will be starting also next summer. And I guess if we go to the next slide, that'll show you a little bit more detail about what we're going to be doing, right? So we're going to be replacing the bridge. We're going to raise the bridge up to get some better clearance over 35W so we don't have trucks hit the bridge anymore. That's always fun to have happen. And then we're going to build the ramps just down to where we can tie into the existing ramps. And we'll worry about constructing the rest of the ramps as I talk about that, meaning these portions of the ramps when we start looking at the 35W pavement rehab project. So
Does E2 have another name, or is it just E2?
it's E2. No problem. And then we're coming down and we'll be going to the east and the west to the tie-in points where we can get down to the existing roadway. And then we also, as you can see, we'll have a little bit of work going on Cleveland Avenue. If we go to the next slide, you'll see that essentially the bridge that's going over, this is showing you what's under the bridge on 35W. Right, there's some piers out there that are kind of close to the travel lanes. We're going to be getting rid of those. We're going to have some clear spans. And the bridge will be set up such that if we get a project to add a lane onto 35W, we'll be able to get under there and have no problems doing so. So the bridge presently is only about 38 feet wide, and we're going to be adding width to it to get it to be over 56 feet wide. So as you look at it, you can see we're going to have 2 through lanes, 1 in each direction. There'll be a center turn lane, and then we'll be adding a 10-foot trail onto the south side of that bridge and carrying that through. So a lot of work going on out there, and we're actually coordinating some of the work with the city of New Brighton that they've got going on to the west side of that also. Now getting a little bit closer to home with the County Road H Bridge. MnDOT has been working with Ramsey County and as they look to replace that whole bridge and expand that bridge out. So if we go to the next slide, you kind of see the picture that Ramsey County is developing as to what the future interchange is going to look like. It's a big interchange, a big bridge, a big project with a lot of work going on. So we'll be reconstructing the ramp to northbound 35. We'll have a bridge braid, so a new exit ramp from 35 northbound to get off onto County Road H. And then we also have to then braid those 2 bridges so that they can not run into each other. So that we'll be able to still get traffic off of the 10 diagonal and get it onto 35W northbound. And then I guess this little line here should be yellow because we're still going to reconstruct the southbound exit ramp and a bunch of work that's going on the County Road H. Yes. Correct. It's all out that area. Oh, thank you. I didn't even look at the title. I'll fix that. Thank you. So there's a lot of work going on out there, and that is going to start at the beginning of next summer also. So between the E2 bridge and this County Road H bridge, MnDOT will be working with Ramsey County to make sure that we try to play nice between the 2 projects and the 2 contractors so that we don't inconvenience the public any more than we have to. We also have a project on 35W where we're going to be doing a mill and overlay of the pavement between 36 and 694. So the pavement out there is not spectacular. I suppose that's probably putting it kindly. It's quite poor, I suppose. So we're going to be doing a mill and overlay. Again, right, we're going to have the E2 bridge under construction, and the MnDOT construction folks that are doing that have both of those projects, so they'll be able to coordinate those two projects and try to do a nice seamless job of getting the two done at the same time and not have one affect the other while we're doing the work. We're also going to be working on Highway 36 at Lexington Avenue. We have to replace the two bridges that carry 36 across Lexington Avenue. So it's a $12 million couple of bridge replacements, and we're also going to be doing a little bit of work over there at Hamlin to the ramps over there as a part of it. Want to make sure that we can get the pavement into good shape and not have any failing pavement and causing you to take your car into the shop just to replace shocks and so on and so forth. All right, Highway 280 from Como up to into Highway 36. So again, we're going to be resurfacing the road, fixing that ramp from northbound to eastbound and from westbound to southbound. Those two ramps need some work, replace the pavement, make some safety improvements. So we're spending a couple $1 million out there and improving that pavement. So we'll be doing that, and again, we've got so many projects going on that we hold about every month. We're having meetings right now to coordinate the construction of all the projects to make sure that we don't affect each other as we get into that. Now moving a little further away, we're going down to 94. We've got 11 bridges that we're going to be doing some repair on. The Pryor Avenue Bridge is the biggest amount of work that we've got going. We're going to be redecking that, so that's some major construction. The rest of the bridges, we're just going to be doing some minor maintenance to it, but it's still a project that has a lot of bridges, a lot of work, and having it be over the interstate obviously will have some impacts to the traveling public. Well, it's Pryor Avenue, Cretin, Cleveland, Fairview, Snelling, Pascal, Hamlin, Lexington, Victoria, Dale, and Western. I can say that slower if we're all taking notes. All right, so then we're also in the 94 area. There's a couple of PED bridges that we want to get some work going on to. So we're going to be doing Grotto and McCubbin in order to get those bridges and make them more PED friendly so that we can have some nice crossings of 94. And then east of downtown St. Paul, we're going to repave 94. We're going to do an unbonded concrete overlay, fancy term for putting about 9 inches of concrete down on the existing roadway. Get some good roadway surface out there to last, 35, 40 years, whatever, and make it good. So make the pavement good. So we'll have some good commutes at least going through there, but we'll also have some time where 94 is going to be affected due to all the work that's going to be going on. Now we start to move south of downtown St. Paul. We've got 4 bridges that we're going to be replacing over 35E. It's up and over, but it obviously you throw an orange cone down, you're going to have an impact to the traveling public. And just because a bridge goes down, right, we have to detour the traffic. So there will be some effects to the local. Starting to get a little bit further away from here, but that's kind of the laundry list of projects that we have in 2016. Now we move into 2017. Okay, we talked about the 94 pavement. That's the one that I talked about being unbonded overlay. We've got the continuation of the 694 project. Just to kind of give you a highlight of what the map is showing you, because that map's kind of small. If we go on to the next one. All right, so this one's apparently free. We're not going to charge for that project. We're actually, I think we're spending about $2 or $2.5 million to redo the pavement on Highway 51 from Pierce Butler up to Highway 36. So kind of a continuation of the project that's ongoing right now. So that's going to be in 2017, right? So not next year, but it is something that is coming up. We're also going to just be doing some painting of the bridges on 694 west of 35W. I think there were, I don't remember how many bridges, 4 or 5 bridges, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bridges that we're going to be painting in 2016. And with that, I will be done talking about construction, at least for the next 2 years, and hopefully I didn't miss anything.
Thank you, Mark. Mark is our engineer in this side of town, and we always like to hear from him. It's, I don't know like everybody else, but it seems like wherever you go, anywhere these days, you think, how am I going to get there? Because your regular route is often not available. So I'll introduce myself. I'm Fran Holmes. I am one of the council members here. And I'd like to also say hello to everybody. I see a lot of friendly faces, some neighbors, and I'm glad everybody could make it. I'm going to talk very briefly about our Arden Hills business retention and expansion plan. It's something that the Arden Hills City Council and our Economic Development Committee is doing with the St. Paul Area Chamber of Commerce. Business retention and expansion involves 2 things. It's business retention because we really want to keep our current businesses in Arden Hills. It's very important to us. You don't want a business to leave because then you have to do more expansion. But if you can retain a business, either finding out what their concerns are, or if the business wants to grow in Arden Hills, how we can find more space for them. That's one of our goals with the business retention plan. And then expansion would be to bring in more businesses into Arden Hills and grow our city. So in January, the City Council developed a contract with the St. Paul Area Chamber of Commerce to develop this Business Retention and Expansion, or BRE, program. The Chamber of Commerce has had a lot of experience in this area, so they're helping us with this program to get to know our businesses better. And that's really what the program is. This is the timeline up here. The program is to visit our current businesses, to let them know that we care about them. We want to understand what their needs are, how we can improve the city for them in terms of infrastructure, transportation, amenities. A lot of our businesses, the people at the businesses use our parks and trails quite a bit. So our people in our city, either city staff, city volunteers, and the St. Paul Chamber, are going to visit about 30 businesses within the next couple months to talk to them about what we can do to make their life better in Arden Hills. We are interviewing landmark or legacy businesses. Some of our businesses have been here since the beginning of the city. Large employers, those are some of our big employers that have a lot of needs and interests. And then businesses that are growing. Growing businesses have needs, and we want to meet their needs as well. So at the end of this process, which will be in January of 2016, the City Council and the Economic Development Commission will evaluate these findings to determine how we can best serve our businesses here in Arden Hills. So that's all I have. I have a cameo appearance here, and I will now turn it over to Dave McClung.
Welcome. Glad to see everyone here. It's nice that we have this room so packed. It's usually cold, as the other council members can attest to, so it's nice to get a little bit of body heat. As you can see from the screen, my first slide, and I'm going to be talking about several different topics with you tonight, is recreation. Our recreation department has created new and exciting activities and classes that continuing to meet the growing needs of our city's ever-changing demographics. Our long-term residents are aging, and we've worked to come up with more programs to fit their wants and needs, not just the needs of our younger residents. The Recreation Department also offers many different activities for all ages. We do bubble soccer, flag football leagues, a science explorer class, photography and painting, bowling camps, and other special events throughout the year. A couple of the things that I would like to highlight on the screen up here is the Bark and Rec Day, which showcased the Arden Hills Dog Park, which was opened within the last year, which has been a tremendous success. I've received a lot of positive comments about that since it's opened. And the other thing that I want to point out is that we have now made available pickleball courts in Cummings Park. Pickleball is, I don't know, for those of you who have played it, is kind of a faster paced version of tennis. It's very popular with youth today and also with older residents. And a lot of cities are adding that as an amenity, and we have as well here in Arden Hills. Yes?
Where's the dog park?
The dog park. Hazelnut Park. So down in the skating rink. So, and it's worked well. We haven't had many problems, so it's a good use of that facility in the summer when it's not being used, when you can't skate. Next slide. Want to talk a little bit about our fire department, and I want to thank Chief Belkey for being here tonight. If anyone has any detailed questions about the fire department, I'm sure he'll be more than happy to answer them after the presentation. So the Lake Johanna Fire Department was established in 1943, and they're unique in that they're a private nonprofit corporation. They provide fire protection services to 3 cities, Arden Hills, Shoreview, and North Oaks. Over the years, calls for service have increased. For example, in 1993, the department responded to roughly around 550 calls. And that has grown over the years to, in 2015, the department anticipates responding to roughly around 3,000 calls for service. So it's a great increase. Back in 2009, the 3 cities and the department started implementing a duty crew to staff 2 fire stations outside of the traditional daytime weekday hours where we originally had a duty crew. And this year, after a number of years, the department finally achieved the goal of being able to staff 2 fire stations as of July 1st, 2015, staff 2 fire stations 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which is a positive development. We have still a paid-on-call model, but we now have paid-on-call firefighters that are in the stations ready to respond when you dial 911 and need their assistance. So that has cut response times to all 3 cities. I think the chief will tell you it's cut response times significantly. It's made an impact on major incidents such as structure fires. Getting there and putting out the fire fast is important, and having firefighters able to jump on the truck and get there 1 to 2 to 3 minutes early in some cases makes a significant achievement. Also, in responding to medical incidents, cardiac arrests, we've had several examples of cases where people are alive today because of the quick involvement of our firefighters getting there to the scene with the other first responders and providing treatment that has saved people's lives. As I said, response times have decreased throughout all 3 cities because of the 24/7 duty crew, and that's a positive thing for all of us. Next slide. Here you see a picture of our Fire Station 1 down in the far southwest portion of the city. With the implementation of the 24/7 duty crew plan, the city and the fire department are going to be considering whether Fire Station 1 down on New Brighton Road is still needed. Firefighters are able to respond as quickly, if not more quickly, from the staff stations than if they had to be paged out and respond from home to Station 1. So there are some economies of scale. We're dealing with the department in a slightly different way. We're allowing our firefighters to schedule their time, which makes it easier on their home life balance. It is, when you hear some departments having problems with maintaining their staffing and getting people to come and volunteer, we're not having that problem in Lake Johanna, which is a positive thing for the way we're now providing the service, and we're providing a better service to the cities. A decision on the future of Fire Station 1 and what we will finally do will be made in early 2016. The city and the fire department are going to work together on any potential purchaser or reuse or redevelopment scenarios of the property in the future when that station goes away. And another thing we want to point out is a question has come up several times about insurance ratings. We currently here in Arden Hills and Shoreview and North Oaks have very positive insurance ratings because of the fire department we have. In no way will the closure of Station 1 impact that. If anything, as we now go to a world of automatic aid agreements between the departments and more cooperation between fire departments, if anything, we may be able to improve that in the future. Next slide. So let's talk a little bit about money now, because I know that's a favorite topic of everyone. And the financial management of the city is something that's very important to us on the city council, and as it should be to you as residents. In 2010, the city's bond rating was upgraded from A+ to AA+ by Standard & Poor's. S&P stated in their view that the city had a very strong, unreserved general fund balance, which continues to today. The city has no outstanding debt at this time. This is a very good rating for the city of our size, and we're currently one step away from the highest rating of AAA. And I just want to point out that for a city of our size, it's virtually impossible for a city our size to achieve AAA. So we're doing very good job of being good stewards of your taxpayer dollars. The city uses best practices in its budgeting and financial reporting and has received awards for multiple years. Let me list a couple of them. We've received the award for budgeting from the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada since 2009. And since 2006, we have received the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, the CAFR Award, and the Popular Report for Citizens, again, since 2006. I just want to look over at our finance director. It's very unusual for cities to get one, much less all three of these awards. We've done this all three since 2009, so that says a lot about the financial management that our staff provide and the council in overseeing our budget. Next slide, please. This is a fun graphic. The chief will love to see this graphic because you look at public safety accounts for 43.5 cents of your taxpayer dollar. So that's our fire department, our police department, our 911 dispatch, animal services, if you have a stray cat or something like that, and give them a call. Property taxes are the major revenue source for the city. This chart shows the amount of each tax dollar that goes to support specific city services. Again, public safety is the largest of our general fund expenditure categories. Water, sewer, recycling, and surface water management are funded through utility rates. Those are enterprise funds and again are funded through utility rates and not property taxes. Next slide, please. To put the city's place into context, we have this slide. And this shows that your property taxes goes to a number of jurisdictions. We have Ramsey County, we have the city, we have the school district, and we have other agencies that account for a small little portion, 7 cents here on the far right-hand side. In 2014, 21 cents of your dollar went to fund the general fund activities of the city of Arden Hills. So basically 1/5 of the money that you pay for taxes provides the services that you receive here from the city of Arden Hills. And we do a lot to work with other cities when we can to not have to have our own fire department, not have to have our own police department. That is a tremendous cost savings for you, the residents. Next slide. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the 2016 budget, and Sue will correct me if I get the figure wrong. The city council at their meeting the other night set our preliminary tax levy for 2016 at 3.5%. Did I get that correct? Correct. Thank you. This is not our final number. The city is required to certify a preliminary levy to the county by September 30th of every year. We can stay at that level or go lower. By law, we cannot go higher than 3.5% at this point. So we will now be working on gathering more accurate budget numbers and final analysis between now and December. In December, we'll hold our truth and taxation hearing when you will all have an opportunity to come up and, as this podium is turned around, speak to us up at the dais about your priorities and your thoughts on our budget, and then we will approve the budget for 2016. For 2016, the majority of the increase that we have is for public safety contracting costs. As we saw earlier, public safety costs are a large percentage of our budget. We contract with Ramsey County for police protection, with Lake Johanna for fire protection. We contract with the county for dispatch, and with Ramsey County for animal through the county for animal control. Again, these services are expensive. They're continuing to increase. However, I just want to point out that if we had to do all of this ourselves, it would be even that much more expensive. So we're getting some real good cost savings here. And with that, I have one last topic for tonight. The city recently completed work on a video tour that highlights our community's many assets. Work on the video was a collaborative effort between the Economic Development Commission, and I know we have several members of the Economic Development Commission here tonight. David Raji is in the audience. And do we have anyone else from? We don't, but we have David here representing the EDC. So it was a collaborative effort between the Economic Development Commission and CTV North Suburbs. So we thank them for the effort that they've put into this. The video is now posted on our city's website and will be used as a marketing tool to help attract new businesses and residents to our community. The video is about 4 minutes long. And now we would like to present the world premiere of our city video tour for you.
Hi, welcome to Arden Hills, where we provide the best in small town customer service with big city amenities. Arden Hills is proud of its business community and is the home of major employers. The vitality of our 4 business districts, along with proximity to both downtowns and the MedTech corridor, and easy access to the highway system, make Arden Hills an important business center in the North and East Metro.
Arden Hills is conveniently located 10 miles or a 15-minute drive from both downtown Minneapolis and downtown St. Paul. The Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport is also just 25 minutes away. Interstates 35W and 694, along with a network of major arterial roadways, provide convenient access to the entire metro region. Arden Hills is a community of approximately 9,500 residents. Unlike typical suburbs, however, Arden Hills is no bedroom community. The city's major employers create a high-energy environment with an employment population of over 12,000. Businesses are drawn to the high educational attainment of the local workforce. Local universities offer adult degree programs in areas such as business management and healthcare leadership. Employees can live nearby as Arden Hills offers a diverse selection of housing options. Home buyers are attracted to the Mounds View School District, which consistently ranks among the top school districts in the state. Residents and employees have easy access to the city's park system, which includes 15 miles of trails connecting parks, neighborhoods, and business areas. Arden Hills is part of the booming MedTech corridor along I-694, and the industry's manufacturers and suppliers see the value in proximity. Major medical device companies in Arden Hills include Boston Scientific and Intracon. Corporate facilities for Medtronic and St. Jude Medical are nearby. Arden Hills has 4 distinct business districts. The Round Lake Business District is located south of Highway 96 between I-35W and Round Lake. The Round Lake Business District is comprised predominantly of office, manufacturing, and light industrial uses. Delcor, Hood Packaging, and Split Rock Studios are examples of the high-quality, innovative businesses in this district. The Corporate Campus Business District is located north of I-694 between Hamlin and Lexington Avenues. Arden Hills is proud to be the home of several corporate facilities. The Red Fox Gray Fox District is located south of I-694. Lexington Avenue is a major retail corridor and consumers are drawn to popular destinations. Manufacturing, light industrial, and office uses west of the retail corridor enjoy easy access to I-694 and Highway 51. The County Road E Business District runs between Highway 51 and Lexington Avenues and is comprised primarily of office, retail, and service uses. Independent businesses enjoy the district's community atmosphere. Something is always happening in Arden Hills. Properties are being redeveloped and businesses are expanding and improving. The 427-acre TCAAP site is the most significant development area in the region and offers incredible growth potential. Following the completion of remediation activities in 2015,
TCAAP will be home to up to 4,000 jobs and 3,000 people through a phased development project.
I hope you've enjoyed this virtual tour of Arden Hills and will consider us for your next business expansion or relocation decision. Please visit our website or contact city staff for more information. We hope to hear from you soon. I'd like to introduce Arlene Mitchell. Arlene Mitchell is a member, actually both Arlene and I are members of the Arden Hills Foundation, and the Arden Hills Foundation has some comments they'd like to share.
Okay, my name is Arlene Mitchell. I'm on the board of the Arden Hills Foundation. How many of you have heard of the Arden Hills Foundation? All right, that's wonderful. I got a lot of hands came up. There is our mission statement. That is who we are. And I thought I'd tell you just briefly a little bit about our history, sort of let you know who we are. We were incorporated in this state 3 years ago. A year and a half ago, we received our formal charity status from the IRS. We are an approved 501c3. Since our founding, we've received 59 donations, totaling a little over $15,000. 6 of these were from businesses, and the rest of them, the other 56, were from individuals. In the last 3 years, we have supported 3 projects that improve water quality in Carth Lake, a project to beautify the Triangle Green Space. We were part of that. A park bench donation has come through us, and we supported a family fun run. What we are is a way for people to make donations and receive the tax break. If you make your donation directly to the city, that's a donation. You make it to us, I will send you personally the thank you letter that's your receipt. And hopefully, knowing that this is a donation for you, you'll be able to give us a little bit more because you're going to get some of it back on your taxes. We currently have funds designated for upcoming projects to continue to improve the quality of Carth Lake, to improve our parks and trails. This includes money that has been set aside in the memory of Don Messerly, and to support the installation of an additional city gateway sign. Our mission statement: to help maintain, enhance, and enrich the quality of life in Arden Hills by connecting the generosity of people such as you with the evolving needs of our community. Our status as a recognized charity allows donations to projects that improve our community to be tax deductible. Many small projects could not realistically achieve that status on their own. A lot of these projects are too small for you to go through the process of becoming an approved charity. Let us do that for you. We have openings for additional members, and if any of you are interested in being in and learning more about us or becoming a member, I have put brochures out on the table out in the foyer. We are working to get our, we are on Facebook. We're working to get our website up and running. So please keep us in mind. If you have a project that you think we can assist you with, please contact one of us. You can contact, if you're not sure how to do that, you can contact the city. They know how to get a hold of us.
All right, thank you, Arlene. And a couple of items in closing before we get to questions. You've seen everything that we've done over the past year, and in some cases more than a year. And yes, the city council is your city council that sets that direction. But most importantly, there's a lot of people who work to make that happen. So thank you to staff for all you do, all the hard work you do. And I also want to have, as I look out into the audience, there are a lot of you that have, over your course of time here in Arden Hills, have either are serving or have served on a city commission or board. And I'd like you all just to stand up. So thank you for all you do, because it really takes all of us to run a city, and it really is our city. There was a question on TCAAP, and as I sat down, I realized that although we presented the TCAAP redevelopment code, I really didn't paint what happened prior to 2013. And in answering some questions, I really should. In 2013, the county purchased the property. The county is still the landowner. At that point in time, it became a joint effort of the county and the city to redevelop the property. And the city and the county created a legal entity called the Joint Development Authority. And that organization will ultimately review proposals against the requirements of the TCAAP redevelopment code for approval. It won't come to the city council, and that's a special agreement with the city and the county. And that joint development authority consists of 5 people, myself, City Council Member Holden, 2 county commissioners, Commissioner Blake Huffman and Commissioner Rafael Ortega, and a neutral chair from Arden Hills, David Sand, and David is with us here tonight. So going forward, what approvals are necessary? The county, first off, the Metropolitan Council needs to approve the comprehensive plan amendment, and the county also needs to approve as well. And then from there, I talked about the spine road going in. The county will write requests for proposals. They are the landowner. They will be selling the property. As you looked at the various neighborhoods and commercial districts, especially the neighborhoods, you saw density ranges for houses, 1 to 2, 4 to 6, 6 to 8. Developers who buy the property will come back with specifically what their proposal is to build on that site. So it will be a sell and build. So that kind of puts it all in perspective, what those plans and who those developers are and the products that they have. We don't know at this point, but if you look at the redevelopment code, you'll see the products and the types that fit into and are permitted in each of those zones. So that kind of gives you what happened before 2013 and what happens going forward. So, and that's really important in terms of answering questions about TCAAP. At this point, I'd like to, questions that you may have. What's going on in the city? What's on your mind? Please.
I have a question for Brenda. The other plot of land that's over there by the Health Partners, that's facing Red Fox Road, what's going to happen to that? They took all the trees down. It's next to motel before you turn the corner.
That was, they had that property up for sale. They have the property up for sale. They cut down the trees because a lot of the trees were not real legitimate hardwood. A lot of them were bad trees. So they got the approval from the city to clear cut it so they could market the property better. And with a lot of the trees down, and all the trees were on their property, I drove by and some of them were pretty close to the street, and it's very earth-shaking for anybody in Arden Hills to see anything clear cut. But it gave prospective buyers the opportunity to see the property. So nothing's happened on it yet, though. It's just sitting there for sale.
And
So if you,
And that's not uncommon for developers, if there's brush and scrub trees on a site, to come in and clean it up for sale. That happened up 35W and 694, the northeast triangle. It used to be all kind of grown up. It's been kind of leveled off, and you'll see signs, development site for sale. So it's not uncommon. And I know as Arden Hills residents, we don't like to see trees disappear. So, other questions? Please.
I have a question for Brenda. Oh, that's all right. Exactly. This might be the same place that we're already talking about, but where Starbucks is located across from Perkins and Potbelly and that whole development, isn't there a phase 2 coming or something, or? Is that I thought that was Arden Hills.
Lexington Station, Phase 2?
Not Trader Joe's. It's where Starbucks is, Lexington Station.
Blue Fox used to be.
Exactly.
so are you talking west of that or south of that?
West
West.
of that.
West. There is a proposal that hasn't moved forward yet,
Okay.
but that is in their long-term plans. But they first need to reallocate the people to a different building, and that's part of the reason why they're building down further past Red Fox, past the health partners. They'll be able to move some of the people from that building to the new building and hopefully redevelop that area then.
Okay. Good.
Just to add a little bit to that, the building that is immediately to the west, it runs east-west, and about half of that building will be demolished, and the actual second phase, the building will be smaller. It will allow for increased parking between the two buildings. So otherwise you go, where am I going to park if they remodel that building right next to it? So it will kind of orient, it'll be smaller, but it will orient along with Lexington Station. And the final phase, which could be several years out, is the current location, I'll call it the strip mall center with the pianos and Jimmy John's and pizza place there. That will become multiple buildings, but that will have to be removed as well. And our understanding is that the developer wants to continue a similar style building so that they'll have a similar look to them.
So that'll be demolished, that whole Jimmy John's, that'll look similar?
Oh, at some point. That's the plan. The person who owns Lexington Station already owns those other two buildings, so it's not like they have to be purchased. And he has a long-term vision for those, and he brought that long-term vision to the council, and he did that because, well, first of all, he wants approval for all of it, but certainly before he started Lexington Station and started taking down the Blue Fox, he wanted to make sure that he had long-term approval from the city. So again, it's kind of a long-term thing. It would be nice to see additional, I'll call them Lexington Station stores, and I think in the end it'll look really nice, but that final phase will be several years down the road. Sure, Nancy?
I have a question for MnDOT.
Yeah, you knew you were going to be up here pretty soon, didn't you, Mark?
Oh, yeah. I was looking forward to it. I went really fast. I know that, but I had a lot to cover.
Yeah, and I should say, I refer to the current bridge projects around here as the Bridges of Ramsey County. I didn't realize you guys had a sequel.
Keep it coming. You guys wanted money. You got money.
Maybe I missed it because there was a lot in your presentation, but I thought I heard that there was a min-pass going on 35W between 36 and Lexington up in Blaine. Is that waiting for funding, or what's the status of that?
So you are correct. There is a project out there. It is after 2017, so I only talked about 2016 and 2017 projects, but it is out there. I think we've got money in 2019 and 2020, and we are doing a study right now and trying to do the environmental documentation and the preliminary layout to carry a min-pass lane essentially from 36 up to Lexington. And whether the min-pass will be that full length or kind of a little shorter subset into there, that is being exactly hammered out at this point in time.
But you do have the money for it, you just don't have the plan or the timetable.
We have some funding. We are not fully funded for the project at this point in time. It is, like I said, it's in 19 and 20. And so we are developing the plan right now. So with preliminary design and the environmental documentation, those are our first steps. And then we would move on into final design. And so some of it's going to be dependent because we are short of funding, we can't likely do the whole project. So we either have to kind of scale back our limits and stop short thereof, or we have to get additional funding into the program, or at least into that project, so that we could carry it all the way.
Thank you.
I have a feeling I'm going to stand here for a little bit.
I don't know if this is your territory or not, but I thought I heard you say something about 610, and maybe you didn't. But do you know anything about, is 610 ever going to connect to 94 going north to St. Cloud?
I did not say anything about 610. I said 694.
10, not 10, okay.
But I don't have many of the exact details onto the 610. I'm responsible really for Ramsey County, so that's outside.
Mark, couple of part question here. The bridge reconstruction on 36 over Lexington, is that with the thought in mind that someday the funding may become available for 36 to be an expanded lane? Will the width be created for a third lane?
I believe that bridge is being constructed such that there would be the capacity for
Are the
an
bridges to
additional
the east, when they were redone, both over 36 and 36, was that thought in mind?
I believe that all of those bridges can accommodate a third lane.
Second question, the reconstruction work from Pierce Butler North on Snelling, how does that complicate or complement the rapid bus transit that's going in?
So as a part of the 51 project that's going on right now, right, they're putting in some of the BRT stuff, some of the stations and enhancements. And so we will get those, those are going in now. And so it will be done in harmony with the pavement, right? Because right now that project, the 51 project is really just to replace the pavement. So it'll all fit seamlessly.
And my third question, we'll let you off the hook unless you want to field it, possibly for the Mayor Grant. Just out of the sake of curiosity, what was the deal with Goodwill?
Say that again?
What was happening with Goodwill when they tore it out of the ground and restarted?
The fact that the wall came down and it was there and then it was gone, that's actually a common question that a lot of people ask. What happened is they put the building in the wrong spot. And what happened was they were hooking up sewer and water, and all of a sudden the person hooking it up said, "Yeah, this is not the right distance." And they came out, and the city came out, and lo and behold, the surveyor made a mistake, and they got the building in the wrong spot. So they started over. So it is. How do you get into it? Good question. That was a concern of the city council. You get into it from County Road E, right in front of the Holiday Inn. You'll notice that there's kind of an in and out, and there's kind of this unusual looking yellow pork chop in the center there to divide the lanes between in and out. You could also go behind the Holiday Inn. If you turned in just prior to Carol's and actually drove around the back side of the Holiday Inn, you could drive all the way around the back side to that location. No, that's not ideal.
Is that the Holiday Inn or E-Flats?
I'm sorry. Yeah, that would be E Street Flats now, not the Holiday Inn. Yeah, it was a flashback.
With Smith Medical moving out, what's going to happen with those buildings there? Do they own those, or? That's a huge complex.
Director Huttmacher, are those actually owned by Smith's Medical? They are. So they are being marketed. I mean, who would move into them, is at this point anyone's guess. I'm not aware that they've been sold. Brenda?
But we have heard that, there's a lot of clean rooms and stuff, so they are part of kind of desirable buildings for medical research and stuff. So they are being marketed as that.
Yeah, they are quality buildings both inside and out. Yeah, they're Class A office space. So, other questions? Please.
Can you expand on the 36 bridge over Lexington? What's going to transpire there? How long will it take? How are you rerouting? What's happening?
Sure. The project is replacing both bridges. So as we take those bridges down, essentially what we're going to do is we're going to sever traffic. Lexington isn't going to be able to be going through anymore because we're going to take traffic off of Main Line 36, route it down the ramp, up the ramp, and continue through. So essentially we're trying to maintain the 36 traffic, and the local traffic will have to divert east or west in order to cross 36. And it should be a one-year project so long as we don't have the summer of rain or really bad weather.
When is that starting?
That's a 2016 project also.
Okay.
I have a follow-up question. So we're going to shut down 694 to 2 lanes, and then 36 is going to probably be shut down for a portion of time. So, and then we're going to not be able to go north on Lexington, but then you said Snelling was going to be overlaid too. So how do I get home?
You don't own a helicopter? So 694 is not being shut down to 2 lanes because there are 2 lanes today. So there are no changes occurring to 694, right? So in theory, it's a construction zone. We know you're going to lose some capacity, but we also know that in a construction zone, you are going to lose some traffic. Right. And we know we've got a lot going on in 2016. But we try to meet to certainly keep track of everything that's going on so that we can do our best to coordinate it all.
So do you coordinate with the county? Because I don't want their road construction to be on Hamlin going north so that we have no way to go around there. How does that work?
We are certainly in communication with the county and trying to talk to them and do the best that we can to coordinate those. But as we all know, we don't have 12 months a year construction in Minnesota. So, there are things that I'm sure will pop up from time to time, but we certainly try to do our best. And I guess I should say to your comment earlier about 610, if we do go to the MnDOT website at dot.state.mn.us, it is out there, and I believe that the connections should all be done by the end of 2016. I was looking at it on a real small phone, so I would apologize for that. But
All right, other questions? Yes, please.
Okay. I think Dave was talking about we had an increase in the number of calls to the fire department, and in the budget it said that the public safety had an increased budget for public safety. Why is this, and has there been an analysis done on the types of calls or to a specific location so we can eliminate that or fix that so we can have less calls?
All right, thank you. I'm going to give that question to Councilmember McClung. He is our representative on the fire board.
Someone hand the other mic to Tim, because I suspect we're going to want the fire chief to also contribute on this. Thank you, Tim, for standing up. Well, you know, since 1993, we've had growth in the area. So just this last year, we had the Pulte development come. So that's added a number of homes. So all of our communities are continuing to grow. Shoreview has development. Arden Hills continuing to have development. Arden Hills is going to continue to have development with TCAAP. North Oaks is growing. So just in the area of the fire department, we have a larger number of population. Arden Hills has always been, you know, we're a unique community. We're not a bedroom community. We have more people who come into Arden Hills to work during the day than actually live here. So we have to maintain services, both police and fire, ambulance, you know, 24/7 at a relatively high rate. We don't have a break during the day. So that's part of the answer. When it comes to police protection, you know, you're always going to have increases in calls for service as you get larger. And one of the other things, and I'll throw it over to Tim, and Tim can talk about the fire department area. When we started expanding the duty crew, we started expanding the types of calls that the fire department responded to. They now respond to medical emergencies, which in the past they didn't. In the past, our medical first responders were our sheriff's deputies and Alina as the paramedic service. Our sheriff's deputies have done a wonderful job over the course of the years. They are not trained to the EMT level like our firefighters in Lake Johanna are. So they are providing a better initial first response for medical calls, providing better outcomes for folks. So I'm extremely happy that we're able to increase the service to provide a better service to the community. But let's see if Tim has anything he wants to add to that.
Thank you. I'm Tim Bolke. I'm the fire chief. Let's back up a little and talk about the duty crews that Councilmember just alluded to. We're kind of at the end of our 6-year plan of implementing station staffing. So we staff 2 stations, the station at Victoria and County Road E, and our Hodson Road and Highway 96, essentially. This was a 6-year plan. The cities, all 3 of our contract cities, have seen roughly 7 to 9% increases over the last 6 to 7 years to move us to that fully funded 24/7 staffing. So we're using part-time firefighters that are trained as well as firefighters in any other city, but we're trying to kind of make better use of their time and ultimately provide a much better response time to the residents. So we're through our implementation. The fire department expects our budget to really kind of level out starting in 2016, 2017. So, but I think there's a huge improvement in service.
All right, thank you. And I would like to add, in terms of the responders to medical situations, as Councilmember McClung indicated, it's the sheriff, it's Alina, and it is the fire department. About almost a month ago, I did a ride along with the Ramsey County Sheriff, and as it was, there was a call, a medical call in Arden Hills, and Sheriff's Department, the squad I was in, was the first to respond, and the sheriff can, trust me, they can get where they need to go pretty fast. And the officer went to the trunk, opened up the trunk, a duffel bag, and it was like huge. Whatever you need was probably in there. I would guess it probably weighed 50 or 60 pounds worth of stuff. But the sheriff, trust me, the sheriff's department is well equipped to handle medical emergencies as a first responder. On the call, next was the fire department that showed up, and then shortly thereafter, Alina. So if you have a medical emergency, don't be surprised. They will all show up. Other questions?
Dave, just to follow
Dave.
to the fire department. I don't need that. I can talk about that.
Actually, you do.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay. Oh, because
This is being filmed, so.
Question, Tim, is the Turtle Lake Station part of the Lake Johanna Fire Department system?
Yes, it is.
It is. Do you foresee, as TCAAP gets developed and the number of people that will be moving in there, that might become a third station to serve that particular area?
That's a great question. Our future long-range plans really with the TCAAP, we've looked at closing the Arden Hills station, which was built in the late 40s. Our long-range plan, as TCAAP develops and the call volume naturally rises in all three cities, that a very natural next step for us is to look at staffing our Station 3 with, again, part-time firefighters. And we've already had kind of an architectural needs assessment, and the station's actually pretty well suited to do minor remodeling at a future date. And I think that's still, years down the line, but call volume and having numerous calls going on at the same time will kind of dictate the need to add additional staffing. But that's for sure in our long-range plans.
Please.
For Dave, the efficiencies and the skill level of the fire department is greatly appreciated in the EMT. You talked about the cost benefit of not providing our own police service. Several communities, I'm formerly of Falcon Heights as one, have contracted out to other cities' police as a cost savings measure and been quite happy with the services for many years. So have we evaluated other vendors for our police service as opposed to the county? Because that seems to be the greatest share of our budget increase.
All right, I think I'll take that one, mostly because I've been on the council since 2000. Boy, I can't remember the date. Brenda, maybe you can help me. Maybe you were on 2006? Two contracts ago with the sheriff? We did
2005.
2005? We did evaluate going with the city of New Brighton. So we basically put out requests for proposals, and we took the two. We looked at the services they could provide. We basically had them both bid for our business, and they came back with basically identical pricing. There wasn't really an advantage to switch. To your point, it's not uncommon for cities to do that, to join together, because there is a increased efficiency as you get to a certain size. And for smaller communities to kind of join together, it becomes more cost effective. And, here's a good example, the Lake Johanna Fire Department with Arden Hills, Shoreview, and North Oaks going together to get those economies of scale. So will we look at it in the future? I don't know. I'm not going to guess what's in the mind of each of my council members, but previously it was the sheriff was competitive with other communities. So to answer your question, we have in the past looked at it.
David, I just want to, and is this working? Yes, it is. Just want to point out, so we contract with Ramsey County. They provide police protection to seven communities, and across those 7 communities, the population is right around 70,000, 80,000. So they are at a nice size to provide economies of scale, to provide enough protection to those communities and have a reserve. New Brighton, smaller department. The council has looked, it was before my first term on council, they have looked at it in the past. If we got to the point where we had serious concerns about the services that we were receiving from the sheriff's department, I think we would be open to investigating that. we haven't been. We're very pleased with the services that we're receiving. The current sheriff is very open to suggestions and has worked with the communities. So it's kind of one of those, if it's not broke, don't fix it, and no one's been able to come and present any evidence to us that we can achieve any type of cost savings.
Was it bid out beyond one city?
I think an RFP was put out at the time. We expressed interest to see who might be willing to provide, and I think only New Brighton provided a proposal to the city, if I remember.
Yeah, part of it is, as we looked at it, is you, as a practical matter, you pretty much need to be contiguous with the other city that you're joining forces with, because cars need to back each other up. So you kind of lose that economy of scale if you're not immediately adjacent to another city. So that would mean that we would have to, we'd be somewhat limited. Obviously, Shoreview, we share a common border with, but they're Ramsey County Sheriff, right? And one of the other aspects to that economy of scale is, as you're larger as a law enforcement agency, you can start to have groups that specialize. You can have your canine group, you can have your narcotics group, you can have your school resource officer, and you get some of those other services that, as a small community, you really can't get. So there's an advantage in that sense too, and as Councilmember McClung indicated, with the size of the 7 cities that contract with Ramsey County, it gives us access to resources that, as a small community, we simply couldn't get.
Yeah, and also, the sheriff's, Ramsey County Sheriff is unique in that they have resources beyond the patrol division that they can pull in if they need them. There have been times when we have had incidents in Arden Hills. Was a bank robbery at the Cub Foods, and we had 8 Ramsey County Sheriff squads on that incident. That is the type of response that I think other communities would be hard-pressed to provide us if we were to contract with them. We'd end up having the sheriffs to come in to back them up anyway. And again, we haven't seen that what we're paying for police protection at this point would be significantly different if we were to go with anyone else. And there is a small, limited subset of organizations that we would look to.
All right, other questions? It's kind of a nice gathering. We can kind of talk about city issues and questions and what's going on. So with that, any other questions? Seeing none, the council members and I will certainly hang around to answer questions. There may be questions that you think of later or questions that you might want to ask in private. So once again, thank you all for coming, and I hope that you've gained some good and useful information on what's going on in your neighborhood and what will be going on in your neighborhood in the near future.